Hi, welcome to D&C McTravels. Hey, we're going to take a nice family vacation day and we're going to Sauder's Village. We're going to walk through the Sauder's Village and see what it's all about. Join us, shall you? Go heading in. And here we are. We're in Sauder's. Sauder's Village was built to represent old historical ways and how things were made back in the olden days. The whole herd is here. We're here pretty early, so a lot of the shops ain't even open yet. Here's a picture, a map of the historical village. As you can see, there's a lot of area to cover. There's a little train and pioneer homesteads, pioneer settlements. This area that we're in right now is called the Green Village. That's what they call the Green Village area. A lot of areas where they got a spinning shop, church, Black Swamp. There you got a livery, and this is where it all begins over here.
Okay, my little chickadees, all of you.
The whole herd here getting ready. Erie shop, where it began.
That led to the creation of the Sauder Woodworking and Sauder Manufacturing Companies here in
Erie's Farm Shop. Welcome to Erie's Farm Shop. The shop was originally a wash house for his parents' farm. He was about 12 years old when he began using this woodworking shop. By 16, he had built a gas-powered lathe in the building and was honing his skills with the neighbors. Now we're getting ready to go into the cabinet shop.
To make fine woodwork, frames, chairs, and tables. These tasks would have fallen to the cat. Similarly. Yeah. Steam, and or water were available by the late 1800s. This shop's tools are all run by human power. As you look around the space, see if you can find the tools operated by a pedals, and cranks.
Crank would be hand, right? Pedal would be feet. What's the treadle or tree?
This was the cabinet shop. Next, we will be going into the basket shop. It says, welcome, come in. As you can see, there's a lot of different little cabins to go in and out of, and it's really hard to film because there are quite a few people here for this early in the morning. So it's going to be really tough to get a good film showing the different things. So probably won't use much sound in this because of the fact that there's so many people. Here we go.
You have a big family and you're living on the farm, mom and dad. You've got lots of animals. You've got chickens out, they're running the barnyard, and Mom sends you out with this basket to gather eggs. Do you see the eggs in there? Okay, now, it's okay. They're really, it's okay, it's okay. If I handed you this basket, do you think you might swing it when you walk out in the yard? No. What do you think you'll do? Will you carry it like this? Well, you'll probably swing it. You look like you would swing it over your head, actually. Well, it's got 2 pouches. Why do I have 2 pouches for my egg basket?
2 different kinds of eggs.
2 different kinds of eggs. I like that answer. That's a good answer.
Orange one.
And you know, this one, you call that orange, okay. This is actually brown egg. It kind of looks orange to me too. You can hold it. It's because you don't want your eggs to break, okay? Because if it's just got a flat bottom, they're gonna break. When you get done, sweetie, you can put it back in there, okay? Now, you have feathers all over the barnyard. Where do those feathers come from?
Chickens.
Yes, and Mom is gonna send you out with this basket, and what's in there? Feathers.
Next, we have the wood carver shop. Next stop, the tin shop. Doesn't look like it's quite open yet.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you? I've got a disc farm, and I'm cutting a groove in here right now, and this is gonna be where the bottom, where the head goes. But this is actually gonna be cut in half, and this is gonna be 2 different containers. So right now, I'm getting ready to cut the groove in there for this side. So, and the tool is called a Crow's, and it's got real sharp teeth, and this takes you a good half hour to sometimes an hour. And what you're going to do, this would be what you would have an electric router do, what you're doing it all by hand. So I'm just going to start it going until I can get that cut in there, then I measure for the top and the bottom for that.
Production wheel. This is a reproduction of an 1840s wheel. The little one in the corner is really that old. And some days I spin with it, I'll probably get it out after a while. But I'm just making the yarn spins right here at my fingers.
And all this wool's made right here. It's from sheep that they have on the farm.
And the wool, this is yarn out here. And when I start the wool, it takes it in and winds on there. Okay? It never, this is the belt that turns the pulley, that's all. The yarn doesn't go out there at all. So here it is spinning in my fingers, and I don't twist my fingers. The yarn does all the twisting, and then I let it go in. Okay? That's how it...
Cool.
Now, you have to prepare the wool before you do this. And
Mrs. Barbara's weaving shop.
It's called a 2-harness barn beam loom. And the harnesses are right there in the middle of the machine, attached to the straps. They control all my threads. You can see how the threads are laced through these wires, and they put right there in the middle. And it's every other thread. The threads are on every other harness. I always get that mixed up and tongue-tie myself. Then what I do is step on a pedal, raise a harness, lower one. Right up here, you can see this space. And that's where I put my fabric through. I'm not working on this one right now. And then I would put my fabric in there, I would bead it in, I would step on the other pedal, and the threads crisscross around it, and it's locked in place. So this one is 162 years old, and it was built for a man. He made rag rugs on it, and in the 1860s, they used all kinds of colors of fabric, whatever was left over old clothes. You probably got to do some cutting and some sewing. Do you do that? Well, you would back then. And your rug would turn out like this one here on the wall. All the different colors. Didn't matter.
St. Mark's Lutheran Church. Let's go in and check out the church, because we all need a little church.
This is St. Mark's Lutheran Church, and it started in 1880 and was their church until 1895. It was started by 13 German families, and one of those families was my great-grandparents.
Wow.
Yeah. So a church service would have been all in German, and they would not have sat on these pews here. They would have actually been on benches or logs. And a church service would have been 2.5 to 3 hours long. They would have gone home, had a picnic, come back for another 2.5 to 3 hour service. Get this on for you. So this is not an electric organ. This is all controlled by the pump of my feet.
Interesting things about the church that you've seen the pews that are in the church. Well, they didn't have them pews to set in. She said that they used to bring in logs and you'd set on a log. Also, the organ that she was playing was completely air pumped by her feet. There was no electric, no anything. By her pumping her feet, that made the air flow through the chambers to make the music. Pretty interesting. Right now we're just walking through part of the village because we're heading over to get on the train before it gets too hot. It's about 90 degrees or more right now. There's the big turkey. District 16 school. Let's check it out. District 16 school was moved here in efforts by Archibald Teacher Association. District 16 schoolhouse. This building was one of the one-room schoolhouses built in 1898. It was located along the Michigan border north of current-day Sauder's village. One-room schoolhouse dotted and landscaped northwest Ohio from the 1830s to the 1940s. Right in the middle of the school, you always had your big potbelly stove to keep everybody warm in the winter. Got your cobblestone streets, cars, horses. Very nice. Here's a soda and fountain shop. Shakes, malts, sundaes, ice cream. Let's go in and see what they got. It's an old soda fountain looking area. Got the girls behind the counter making all the sodas and malts and shakes. The only difference between now and then is I don't think they had this nice air conditioning back then. It was pretty nice. And then over connected to the ice cream, they always had their pharmacy. All their medicines, women's things. This is a 1920 pharmacy and soda fountain. Pharmacy in the 1920s was not just a place to buy drugs, it was an important part of the business. Pharmacies supplied the patients over-the-counter medicines as well as medicines for various formulated drugs combined with their recipe. Like today, pharmacies sold a variety of other health beauty aids, including makeup, perfume, shaving cream. The fountain began to create the artificial mineral waters known as historical soda water. These today are known as carbonated water, which the pharmacists used to mix some of their medicines with. In most 1920 main streets, four-sided clocks were very prominent. This is the town of Elmira's train station. Passengers and cargo were brought in to these train stations. This is the inside of a train station. You can see they had their telegraph area.
Welcome to the Elmira Depot. This is where you would have came to wait for the train. The station master's jobs were to sell tickets, get the mail ready, send telegraphs, and then it was also his job to...
And this is where they loaded the freight. They had the freight to load onto the trains. Telegraph.
What's in here? Chicken.
On this side of the street, down at the end we have our caboose. That is a real caboose and it is open to go into. So you
This is a 1926 caboose. No real cabooses run really anymore. Yep, the caboose served as a passenger location for the conductor, brakeman, and flagman. On freight trains, only other people aboard were the engineer on the engine. This is what the streets look like in 1900. Now we're going to check something out from the 1900s. Something I wish I could still use, but unfortunately I don't have a need for one of these anymore. The old barber shop. These actually had baths in them too. Barber shop here. It's like they also gave baths at this one.
At this one they did. It was close to a railroad station, so men who were the crew in the train could come in here and get cleaned up from time to time. Train travel was pretty dirty back.
Let's go check these out. Oh, I bet you that'd be cold getting in, or hot, depending on the water.
Yeah.
The hot water tank to keep it hot. Yep, this is something I don't need much anymore, a barber shop, unfortunately.
It's all barber slash beauty shop.
The theater with 1920 movies in it. Furniture store, candy shop. We actually have a grocery store and a clothing store. And let's go in and check out the hardware store. Gotta have utensils to eat with. This is the hardware store. Is this 1900s?
1920.
1920 hardware store. They got toys and
Mr. Stutzer was originally a harness maker and for horses, and then he went on to hardware once the automobile came upon us and there were less need for horses with harnesses.
there you go. Nice little Westinghouse stove.
And those are ice boxes.
Big chunks of ice in there. No electric.
No, no electric.
Dayton, Ohio, that's where all the cash registers used to be made. Now we're getting ready to go in the jewelry store. Diamonds.
Welcome to Chuck's Jewelry Store.
Thank you.
This is a store that was in Bryan, Ohio, and Chuck family for 100 years, and it just closed in 2016. But in the 1920s, you got a lot more than just jewelry.
So this store was open from the 1920s to 2016.
1916 to 2016.
Yep. And it was just like it is in here. Have the bank, Farmers Merchant Bank. And here we have the gas station, Standard Oil dealer. The Standard Oil dealership also sold Fords. Inside the gas station here, the office.
Ooh, 407. See the light lanterns in there? Where's this one?
This is a 14.
24 cars, 1914. Okay. This is 110 years old.
It still runs.
And I see that it had permitted as
Yeah.
late as 2010.
We do take this one out to parades and so forth.
You're going to be in the Wasion parade?
I'm not sure.
Oh, good.
This is their showroom.
Yeah. That's good. I couldn't sell them a car, but hey, you guys.
Showroom.
That's our new and improved 1926 Ford Model T. This color, for the first time in many years, you can get the Model T in color.
Even in the 1920s, you needed a doctor. There's your bed to lay down in. Uh-oh. There's your... I think this guy might have done work on teeth. This is Dr. George Guffin. He's from Northwest Ohio. He moved here from Canada in 1901 and opened his medical practice in Pettisville, Ohio, where he served his patients and community until his death in 1941. This is the Holden Church. Let's go in and check it out. If you notice, this church doesn't have anything on the walls, no crosses, nothing. That's just the way they celebrated Christ. They didn't believe in musical instruments or anything on their walls. Okay, this church, Holman, was affiliated with the Mennonites, but he did not like the Mennonite church as well because it wasn't strict enough. So basically, Holman, he started his own branch, and it was very basic. Nothing on the walls, no crosses, nothing, because no music, no musical instrument. Everything was a cappella, and that's the way they practiced their belief. Little Pioneers Homestead, this designated place for our younger guests to learn to play and explore. This is Mary Ann's cabin. Let's go in and check it out. See how Mary Ann's cabin is. Please be gentle when milking the cow. Use your thumb and pointer finger and pull gently. Wow. Well, now we're getting ready to go into the blacksmith. See what they're making in here. Hi, how are you?
Doing good yourself.
Good.
Excellent.
Tools of a blacksmith. There's my creatures over there. Well, here they come. The whole herd coming. This bell is Bethel United Brethren Church bell. In 1897, the congregation grew. Its members decided to construct a new building. It was located at the junction of County Road C and 13, just southwest of Wauseon. The church had a bell tower, and the bell had two ropes. One to ring the bell to remind members to attend church, and one for tolling and bell for members of the congregation who had passed away. Due to the size of this bell tower, however, and depending on weather conditions, the bell could sometimes be heard for 5 or 6 miles across the field. The church was torn down in 1967, but the bell was saved through the efforts of Henry Zimfield. So this was a UB church bell. The cider mill. Covered wagon. First settlers in Germantown traveled from eastern Ohio in covered wagons created by putting a bow and canvas on a farm wagon. Wagons were pulled by oxen. These animals had great strength and could pull better and withstand longer journeys through the swamp. Over here we have the lobber shelter. When the first settlers in the area arrived in 1834, they erected simple shelters for each family, a lean-to construction. This place for young and sick to sleep, a place to fix meals. Most of the settlers used these shelters for a few months while they prepared land for their own cabins. Pretty simple and basic. As they moved on and got their shelters, they would build cabins like this, plant their cornfields, and get ready to live a good life. These are wigwams over here. Here's a cutout canoe. Cooking areas. Birch shelters. Small garden spots. Melons. Looks like pumpkins here. Squash. And corn. They grow them different in like pods. Second depot in the park. One at each end. This is a Hungarian migrant worker wagon, built in 1923. This wagon was used in the 1920s and 30s. The wagon is a mobile shelter used by sugar beet workers when hoeing and thinning and topping the sugar beets. The farmers needed the labor, would pull a wagon near the beet field with a team of horses. The wagons were usually parked under the shade tree near good water. Sugar beet workers and their families lived in these wagons most of the summer. This is the grist mill. Inside the grist mill, looks like they're grinding up some corn. As the wheel goes around, it turns these millstones in here and grinds the corn up for cornmeal. Cornmeal recipes even on here. The newspaper, the Archibald Herald, established in 1885.
In the early 1900s.
So he says this was set up like a print shop from the early 1900s. All their dyes and printing stuff, printing machines. Now we're getting ready to go into the general store. Candy, dolls, tinyware, bobbettes, kitchenware, tea, books, and baskets. This is where it's at, the candy. The general store. All sorts of candy. Kids are loving this area.
Alright, so I move this one, and then you move one. To what? I don't think they're not set up right.
Can I play?
Huh? No, it's not set up right.
Well, now we're getting ready to go into the museum. We'll check it out. Here we go. Some steam engine tractors. First Baker engine, built in 1898. What do you think of these tractors, guys? They're old looking, aren't they?
And old-fashioned.
Yep. Old bathtubs. You know, it's really funny because this style right here is really coming back into popular. Yes, here we have Erie Sauder's 1947 Pontiac Streamliner. Erie purchased it in 1947. The family used the four-door sedan for many years. Here we have a replica of Erie Sauder's office. The office has been set up to look very close to the way he had it set. He was a determined and relentless hard worker. That was the key to his success and his ability. He reached goals never imagined by many men. Erie Sauder was born August 6, 1904 in Archibald, Ohio. He died June 29, 1997 in Archibald, Ohio. Well, that's going to finish it up here from Sauder's Museum and little community that we're going through today. We really had a good time. We probably didn't even touch half the stuff that was in here. I mean, there's a lot to do. We only had so much time. But it's been a beautiful day, really hot, probably close to 90-some degrees. But it was well worth it. We had a great time as a family, and I'm sure we'll be back. Hey, thanks for traveling with DNC McTravels today. Have a great day. Bye.